All right, and good morning, Kenya gets to continue this beautiful morning, Wednesday morning, the 1st of October. And right now, we are going to be looking beyond the silence. That is what we are talking about today. And we are working on making ear and hearing care a reality to all. And in studio with me, I have two ladies who are joining me, who are going to be helping me when I speak about this conversation, mainly on hearing impairment. And I will begin with my very far right, and we have Aska Josephine, and Josephine is an activist, and she's also the founder and director of FedWed. Welcome to the show. And then we also have Sheila Opio. Sheila Opio is a disability rights advocate, and she's also a law student as well. Welcome to the program. Now let's begin, and I will begin with Josephine, and I would just love to know from her. You know, Josephine, you're the founder and the director of FedWed. If you can just mention to us what FedWed is all about.
Okay, thank you so much. And to all hearing, my name is Aska, but this is my sign name. Yes. Why? Why must I show my sign name? We deaf all have a sign name which we call one another with. Now, FedWed Kenya was founded. Why? Because of the challenges. Most people may never know that with the deaf, especially the deaf women and girls, we go through some challenges that people have never known, which is common with the family, the households, including even at school and at work. What motivated me to start this organization, it's true, I went through some of abuses at home, in my village, at school. So when I was at school, I was sick and to the hospital, and the doctor who treated me would always come to seduce me. And I tried to resist many times, but he blocked. I was still a young girl by then. So I saw this with other hearing students who never understood. So I would wonder myself, what was wrong with me? And at the same time, when I finished school, and I moved to work with the Kenya National Council for the Deaf, I was put in charge of women, main issues. They would come and talk, they would come and complain about abuses, and others would leave their men. So I saw this through, I was not the only one who was experiencing abuses, but other deaf also had the same challenges. So during that time, advocacy for the rights was a challenge. And we tried, but we saw that the best place was to, so when we finished this, I decided to form FedWed just to give women and girls focus on the challenges, advocacy, and our rights. And also to empower deaf women to be able to stand and advocate for themselves. Okay. And at the same time, to bring their parents together to empower them so that they understand that if they have children they live with, they must be able to understand and talk about our disabilities. And also, we ensure that we maintain and that streamline the public, and so that they are able to understand us. That's what motivated me to start FedWed.
Oh, that's really nice. That is a beautiful, beautiful initiative that is all about advocacy. So we appreciate you for that. Now, to you, Sheila, you're also doing advocacy, and you are the disability rights advocate. If you can also just let us in on your story on what inspired you to now take that particular route whereby you are a disability rights advocate.
Thank you. Personally, I started working with the Free Kenya Girl Network as advocate there. And where did I focus on? In advocacy and passionate about disability, justice, mental health, and also we include education. Yeah, so for the years that I worked in the field, different counties and different areas in this country, I've seen there's a lot of challenges and gaps where people with disability face, where people with disability face, because most of us feel oppressed. People assume that we are nothing. We have been left behind for a very long time. So when you stand for this passion and advocacy, we have developed and helped mainstream the society, and we work together. And that's my experience as a deaf person. I've felt pain because moving forward, and when I look myself at a young person moving forward, and when you stay the same place for so long in Kenya, when we have a history of working, advocacy for the rights and inclusion in the country, we have experiencing the challenges that we have when we finished working, and we compare before and now, their activities in advocacy for these people, especially the youth, they find that they have the same experiencing, though some have changed because the world is also changing. I'm passionate about human rights for persons with disability because of the various barriers that we are facing. But there's a lot of stigma in the society where people believe that persons with disability are not equal. They never know that whatever they can do, the same other people also can do without disability. So I feel I wanted to be recognized and to be at the same level as my person. My person comes first, not my disability. Why? I know I have a disability, but I have ability greater than my disability. So when you look at me, and you look at me as for my disability, when we mainstream together with the society, they are able to see us and recognize us without the disability. And I stand for that as my right. Why? This has led me to join education and study law within the courts, within the society, within the government, so that we all have fair and equal experience with equal participation. And at the same time, I've seen that when we are left behind, especially the deaf, we experience more challenges in advocacy, violence. Sometimes you end up being arrested, but you never knew that you are, the reasons to why you're being arrested. So that's an advantage that the hearing have over us. Sometimes you don't have the benefit for money. Others don't know their rights. So when you study law, you are able to stand for this and be able to show others. And sometimes it has led me forward to empower the deaf community on their rights and stand and advocate for themselves.
Amazing, amazing. And you know, there's something that Sheila has mentioned, and I would love Josephine to also get into it. She talked about stigma and the stigma around people who have hearing impairment. Maybe Josephine, maybe what are some assumptions you would say? Okay, I'm being told to take a break, so let's take a break and then we'll come back to continue with the conversation. Don't go too far. Thank you for staying with us. Our conversation is Beyond the Silence, and we're just trying to look at ways into making hearing care a reality to everyone. Now, before we took that break, we were talking about the stigma that people with hearing impairment get to undergo, and I was posing a question to Josephine, and I was asking you, Josephine, when it comes to the stigma around people with hearing ability, maybe Are you facing challenges when it comes to the job opportunities available for people with hearing impairment? And for those who are already in the workspace, what are some assumptions that people have when working with people with hearing impairments?
Okay, it's true. We have a lot of stigma with the society, and I think it's because of lack of awareness, ignorance. I just don't understand. But it's true that people believe for you to be seen as okay, you must be able to talk. And now do you speak? Through your mouth. Yes, you see, I can, but I use my signs. Now people see signs as, So it has brought a lot of negative perception on people. And as I said before, from within the household, many deaf people live in the houses or in the home alone. Some members don't know even sign language. So it makes parents impossible to comment or to mentor a child. When the child is growing up, you have to depend yourself, and you create maybe your own knowledge. In future, you become with this child. For the deaf, we are all alone. We have our dreams to achieve too. And when a deaf finishes school, maybe high school, maybe is lucky to join college, some feel they're not ready for the outside world. Why? The education system is weak, which in Kenya we talk about, which the KSL is talking about. And most of the deaf, they start their own business in the streets, their shops in the street. If you're lucky to get a job in the factory, yes, they employ the deaf. Why? They can work. When they're working well, they never complain. Their salary they're paid so little. Why? They know nobody's going to advocate for their rights. They just work with whatever they are given. They're overworked, but they can never complain. So most of their workers, those who work in the factory, the job market does not favor their skills. And now we also have a few deaf who are able to go to colleges and become teachers. I know the government of Kenya believe that we the deaf can only become teachers. We have professionals, different, but most of the deaf are teachers. After colleges, they teach schools for the deaf. And some also go to the universities and become also, they work with our deaf schools. And also we can become doctors, bankers, different professions. Somehow, we are not there, but we only have one deaf man who is employed as a commissioner, and that is Washington Asati, who works as the ombudsman. And he worked so well, and he went through with where we got an opportunity for jobs which are so different, but right now they are quite difficult. Because you cannot talk, you cannot work. That's the belief that some people have. Or something that, because you have to work with an interpreter, so they feel that it's wrong. When you employ a deaf person, you must just consider and look at the skills. We can also work and interact with in the society. We also can be included and learn sign language within their workspace. This sector is something that's still beyond the dream. Through the law, and the policies that are made, it can also change the workspace for us. For those who work in the factory, they can become, so that we don't just think that deaf can become teachers only. And also in the education for the deaf can be improved if you give them well-qualified teachers who have good skills, and the schools become accessible. And I believe that is true, that the hardworking people, and especially the deaf, can also be they can also be added and employed more to remove this attitude. The assumption that if you can't speak, and you can just only open your business as a deaf person, also you have to employ sign language interpreters. This assumption has to be removed.
Right.
those are the challenges that the deaf people experience when looking for a job. But I want to say this, especially those factories that have employed the deaf, they are also human. You cannot work for your salary of 10,000 or 15,000, and in this hard economy, that things are getting hard. They cannot speak for themselves. So when you're oppressing their rights, and also the parents, the family members, it's your responsibility to, in general, to be a mentor to your child. I became this because of my father. Yes, he died, but I'll always be forever grateful for my father. He mentored me, he pushed me, he encouraged me, and I finished school. I got a job. I have everything else. The economy calls us to be empowered. We need financial strength. When you have a voice, you have a say. But now, because most of the deaf don't have work, it's very difficult and for them to stand for themselves become weak for them. So we need to change this policy, and we need to be given jobs, not assumption because we cannot speak.
All right, that is very well noted. And I want to also still pick from there to you, Sheila, as a law student. You're a law student, and there's something that she's mentioned. She's talked about, you know, for most deaf people, they are restricted when it comes to work. People just assume you can only be an interpreter, you can only be, you know, a teacher, and that's it. You know, other professions seem to not have a space as long as you are a deaf person. So for you as a law student, how would you say that, you know, being in the education system in Kenya as someone who cannot hear, how has that been like for you? And even as you look at the job market for yourself, you know, what are you looking at?
Nice. I like the theme of today that says beyond the silence. It's a nice theme. And this, well, it's related to the advocacy. We need to make it public and make it move forward. Education system of Kenya, I saw, especially the special area, the special needs, still very poor. With my personal experience, I still low. I have a reason. The education sector for the deaf community is only advantage for those people without disability. Can you imagine? You have all other students in Kenya, almost every person in Kenya went to a deaf school, becoming a teacher and being taught by a hearing person. And you find out that those hearing people don't know sign language very well. At the same time, this brings a lot of barrier to us in education. So I wonder, the government, when it's employing people who are skilled and experienced in sign language, they have not that experience to teach the deaf, and they expect them to develop. How are they going to develop themselves? So when a deaf student complains, they say that, I don't know sign language. So how do you stand for us? It's hard. So I think it's better, the best way to solve this problem, we need 80% of teachers who are deaf to teach the hearing, the deaf in deaf schools. Why? You can imagine I'm a deaf person who's going to a secondary school for the hearing students. When I go into the classroom, I find barriers myself. The teachers ask me a question as a deaf person, so I go to study in a hearing school. But how? When I join a school for the deaf, and I find a hearing teacher teaching me without sign language, it continues with the same problem. So the problem, this problem is big, that we have in Kenya, where teachers for the deaf the barriers that can be created by the hearing teacher not teaching well, in developing education well, but so it's better for the government that we need with the TSC, look for experience. If this one is going to reduce the grades, maybe somebody got a C, and they can improve their skills that they have and they teach in their schools. Another thing that the government should know is that over the years, we've been advocating for the education society to be mainstreamed, the hearing and the deaf, and other persons with disability. This is just important, and they're campaigning for us to create awareness in the society so that it helps spread and also help remove the barriers, not for people to take advantage of persons with disability, but the mainstreaming, I understand that the problem that Kenya has is just taking advantage for persons with disability, and I feel this should just be scrapped away so that students who continue their education, when the government gives them or acceptance and agree with their 50% of employment sector, both in public and private sector. So I wonder myself, if they never give this, if they never achieve this percentage, this lowers or cannot make somebody to develop and grow well. So it's wise for the government to recognize these barriers that have been created between the hearing, especially the teachers who teach the hearing teacher in the deaf school, to help them develop education-wise and improve. As I study law, I also lead and move forward so that we remove the silent voices that we have and feel that we people are not being taken advantage of, and we can advocate for ourselves and make us just not lower education, but also be at same level with others. And the government should stop think that the deaf persons only can be teachers, but be given equal opportunities and equal participation for deaf persons, and achieve the best equal level and also inclusivity.
Okay, I'm sure the word has gone out there that inclusivity is exactly what we are advocating for, you know, as a whole. That is the main thing, inclusivity. Give equal opportunities to people with different impairments as well. Now we need to finish this conversation, and I will allow you, Josephine, to give us your final remarks as we finish in just a minute or less.
My final comment, I hope I'll be back again and speak about lawmakers. Please help us, this KSL bill to be passed. It's our voice, it's our need. For the deaf people who use sign language, it's true that we need to make sure that interpreters, like the qualifications of interpreters are equal at all levels. We want to see that interpreters who also help the deaf as a professional worker in Kenya, because when there's no respect, people will continue this attitude. This is our language. So my application is that we appreciate our President Kenya, that our President of Kenya make sure that this bill, KSL bill, becomes a law. Thank you.
All right, I'm being told we need to finish this conversation. For sure, we will have turns on the show today. This is where we end Good Morning Kenya this morning. Thank you so very much to each and every one of you who has been tuned in